Hi, I'm Cynthia from Empower to Free, and welcome to today's session of Is Finding Meaningful Work Important? So today I have with me Coen here from TransBefrienders, who will be sharing his story. So maybe let's begin with by welcoming Coen, right? Coen, why don't you share a bit about yourself and also share your story?
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. But first and foremost, I would like to say that thank you for organizing this event. I am a transgender male. But whatever I'm going to share, my experience is very different from the rest. Every trans person has a very different story. So hi Renee. I'm the founder and executive director of TransBefrienders. I'm not too sure if you have heard of us. We are peer support services for transgender youth in Singapore. So our main program is befriending support as well as a study support for transgender youth. So a little bit about my background is that when I discovered that I didn't discover that I'm trans first, but when I was younger, like between age 3 to 4 years old, when I have the knowledge of gender, I felt very different from my peers, my friends and all. And I didn't have the word to put it until much later, because I'm talking about a time where internet is a luxury. It's something that not every household has, not like nowadays. So I didn't have the tools to research and to really ask what I'm feeling and all that. So it was only until when I was in secondary school, that's when I have internet. That's where I search about my thoughts and my discomfort, and then I came about this term called gender dysphoria. So what it is that it's a sort of a condition whereby you feel like your body doesn't belong to yours, and you feel like you're in a different you're in the wrong gender. Yeah. So it's like when your mind is a mismatch of what you have physically. Yeah. So that was in secondary school. That's where I realized that the term transsexual. And I will need to trigger warning this part whereby there will be mention of suicide. So if you're not comfortable, you can just let me know. Okay. Yeah. So throughout my childhood, I just felt like I was alien, because of how uncomfortable I am with myself and my body, and my puberty actually came very early on in life at 9 years old. So what I thought when I was younger was that I will grow up to have the right parts, physical parts. Yeah. But when puberty hits, it's going the other way. So that's when I start to grow, more uncomfortable with myself. I start to get anxious. I get depressed, and eventually it led to a lot of suicidal ideation and attempts. So that has been that concludes my childhood. I wasn't very happy with myself, so I did not have the right mindset for studying. I did not see myself, living through my adulthood. Yeah. But thankfully, along this journey, I met a trans woman online, and she really guided me. She befriended me, and gave me a lot of resources to go about, seek treatment. Yeah, so that includes like which doctor to go to, what to look out for, things like that. And I was very thankful. I still am thankful to her. If not for her, I don't think I will be sitting here talking to you right now. Yeah. So yeah, so that's how it gave me the idea that a lot of transgender youth go through the same process. Yeah. They struggle the same way as I did. But of course, some of them, they do not have gender dysphoria. But for those that has this condition, close to like 50% would have actually, committed suicide or have suicidal ideation. So the idea of befriending came about after this trans woman befriended me. So I thought, hey, more transgender youth need help. And if this is what helped me in the past, I believe this will actually help a lot more trans youth. So it's also a way for me to pay it forward, you know. So yeah, so that's how I set up, TransBefrienders. Yeah.
So maybe Coen, you shared with me earlier, right, that this is not your first job, like your first job was not in the social service sector. So maybe could you share a bit with our listeners around what were you doing before this and how is it like moving from one industry to this sector or one sector to another sector?
Yeah. So I was a flight dispatcher with an airline. So I'm dealing with aircraft, dealing with flights, flight schedule and all that, very technical stuff. But in the aviation industry, it's there's a lot of our bosses are from the ministry. So the way they look at people like us, LGBT people, is very different. And because of my diagnosis, gender dysphoria, I could not apply for flight training. So that has a sort of like a glass ceiling for me there. I won't be able to progress in my career. So, but also at the same time, COVID hits. So I had to jump to a new sector. Yeah. So that's why I after being in the aviation industry, I jumped to immigration. So I was an immigration consultant for a few months now. I still am, but at the same time, I sort of like putting on two hats. So I'm also running TransBefrienders at the same time. Yeah.
What are some of the push and pull factors of running TransBefrienders for you?
Okay. So I enjoy helping people. So whenever I help someone and then they sort of like they get better at themselves, they get more confident, it's very rewarding. Yeah. So, oh, hi. Yeah. So, yeah. For me, it's seeing when I get a youth a youth thanking me after the befriending session, that's sort of that become very rewarding for me to know that I've helped someone out from their depression, for example, or I've helped someone to gain confidence in life, to pursue what they want. Yeah, I think that's something I look out for. Oh, hello. Yeah.
What about the push factors? I mean, we all know that working in the social sector is not all happy days and rewarding every day. So what were some of the challenges or days that you make you feel like you just want to give up and not do this anymore?
Right. So there are times where it becomes quite frustrating when you feel like the youth needs more help, but on my side, I do not have the capacity to. So then, I will need to look out for other partners, community partners, actually refer them to. So so yes, there are times whereby I feel like I want to help, but I can't. Yeah. But in knowing that, it's okay not to, yeah, to blame it on yourself, but to get help for the people I'm helping is very important as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been hogging quite a bit of questions. Maybe I'll now open the floor to Serene and Renee. Do you have questions for Coen? Feel free to unmute yourself and just ask the question.
Maybe I'll start. Coen, I'm just curious to know, like currently in the space, like Singapore's, like in Singapore, right? Do you actually find society slowly becoming more open and accepting of the not just the LGBT community, but like the trans community in general? Or do you still see that there's a lot of resistance and there's a lot of hostility? Yeah.
That is a good question, actually. Interestingly, Singapore is very tolerant to the transgender community. In fact, Singapore is one of the first Southeast Asia country to perform SRS, sexual reassignment surgery. So it used to be very, very tolerant, but somehow, went downhill. Yeah, but in recent years, I would say for the past 5 years, things are, getting better. I wonder why too. But yeah, I can see that it's becoming, as awareness start to build, I think the whole society is much more tolerant towards the trans and LGBT community in general.
Thanks. Thank you.
Me, I think maybe just a bit of background because I have a friend who struggled with sexual atmosphere as well, and then he doesn't tend to transit, but he doesn't always feel like a male, and he always shares all these things with me, and I empathize, but I don't really, I never know how to respond. That's why that's why I was interested in this session, so that I could like learn a bit more about the perspective and the challenges that they face. So I was wondering, like, how can we help? Like maybe to help in your company as well, or in what ways can we do?
Right. Okay. So I get that your friend might, identify as like gender fluid, and yeah. So the thing about the transgender community is that we don't exist as binaries. It's better to look at us as a spectrum. So there are some trans folks who actually do not want to settle for either gender, and then there are those who go to extreme left or right, where for example, there are trans guys who really identify as a straight male. They are attracted to females, and then they really look at it, set in deep into this whole toxic masculinity thing. Yeah, so it happens. But of course, to your question, how you can help your friend, right, is to ask. Yeah, just ask politely. For example, what pronouns does your friend would like to address by? What name your friend actually prefers. Yeah, so no harm asking, but when you ask in a polite way. Yeah, try not to be too condescending about it. Yeah, so that's the best way. At the same time, your friend might be also trying to explore which gender to actually settle on. It's okay if your friend doesn't, but yeah, a lot of them actually would fluctuate to see which side they want to be on. Yeah, it can take a long time, but for some of us, we are quite clear about that. So yeah, the best thing is to just ask.
Thank you. I'll try and reach out to him. Oh, then. It will take a lot of reminders and self-awareness.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. I mean, when I started to hear about this they them pronoun, I struggled as well. It doesn't just immediately click in me. Yeah, because we are, in our whole life, we are taught that pronouns, they them refers to multiple people. It's a plural pronoun. So yeah, it takes some time to actually get the hang of it. Yeah.
So, Serene and Renee, do you have other questions? Feel free to ask.
We still have some time.
Yes, we do.
Oh,
we have
okay,
a
great.
few minutes. Yeah.
Okay,
If you
nice.
don't have, I have the questions, but go for it.
Okay. I just because you mentioning time, and I was just thinking, right? Like how long did it take for you to realize that you're a trans guy, and how did you take that leap of faith to like start transitioning and everything?
Okay, so for me, it's quite clear cut. I did not have a phase whereby I can choose. For me, it's a do or die thing. So, because I was really, really uncomfortable with my body, and I didn't know I can change. So when I know, it just clicked at me. It's like, oh, this is me. That I've been feeling this way all the time. So for me, it's a no-brainer to go after the treatment. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, not everyone experienced the same thing. Yeah. So yeah, we are a spectrum after all. So yeah. So it differs. Yeah.
Nice, thanks.
No worries.
Renee,
You met with and you met with no resistance like from people around you and those who are close to you or anything like that?
Okay. So that is quite that's another good question, because for when I came out, it was in the early 2000s. So back then the awareness isn't there. So I met with quite a huge resistance, not just from my parents, teachers, and also some of my peers. They do not understand what being trans means. They just thought that their only reference in the mainstream media is sex worker. So I don't mean that sex worker is bad, but sex work is not exactly bad, but it's not just it's we are more than that. We are more than being a sex worker. So yeah, so it's a lot to educate them. Yeah, but of course now I think with internet, everyone is much more aware about the whole transgender community. So thankfully, the kids, nowadays they have it easier, I would say. Yeah.
Do you ever have to deal with the parents or like the adults of the youth that you work with and get a flashback from them, like in your work that you do at TransBefrienders?
Yeah. So yes, we do work with parents. There are some parents who are quite hostile. So when they learn that their child is actually seeking support from us, they weren't happy. They'll call us and then give us a earful, and then we have no choice but to refer them to public resources. So resources like IMH, or another one which is counseling center that is not trans focused. Yeah. But there's also the other side of the parents, whereby they are quite accepting. They are well informed, so they come to us to seek help for themselves, not just their youth. Yeah. So yeah, we do work with parents of all sorts. Yeah.
I do have to wrap up the session soon. So maybe Coen, if I could ask you to conclude, right, by sharing your thought on this question. Do you feel that finding meaningful work is important?
Yeah. For me, it's a yes. Because I like helping people, at the same time, I can't last in a career, in a job, if I feel that this job is not meaningful. So for me, I look out for something that I enjoy doing, and it brings rewards and achievements. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Coen. So Coen, if let's say Renee or Serene wants to reach out to you after this, what is the best way of them looking for you?
Okay, so you can go to TransBefrienders website. Let me type this out for you. Or you can reach out to me via email. Yeah, I'll try to respond within the same day. But if not,
Very
I'll usually,
Singaporean.
yes, I'll try to reach out within the same week. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So nice of you. Thanks for the sharing.
So thanks for coming to this Human Library. If you'd like to hear from our other speakers, feel free to sign up for their sessions. Coen is running the second session at 7:30. So if you want to hear more or hear a repeat of whatever he has shared, so come back then as well. All right. Thank you very much. See you, Renee. See you, Serene.
Everyone.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thanks, Coen.
See you.